other bits in there. So I'll get her going here. Today we're watching Danielle Serdachny's gold medal winning goal from last year's World Championships. We're going to watch a bunch of clips here and check it out and see what we can learn. So here's the initial clip. Ambrose shoots it through. Serdachny's got a great screen, scores on the rebound. Seems simple, something we need to see a lot more of in women's hockey and girls hockey, but we're going to break it down in a lot greater detail here. So you're going to see the same goal scored again, a little bit more off the entry. So we can see a lot more movement by the Canadian players. We can see that they're even on a change, so it's actually a 3-on-3 when this goal is scored, or pretty close to it. They're not even in the zone yet. But let's slow this down and really analyze what Canada does so well to score this goal. So first things first, we're going to talk about Erin Ambrose, elite defenseman, one of the best in the world, so heads up and has been that way since she was back in junior hockey. I used to get to watch her play when she was under 18 here in Ontario. So you're going to see here on entry, she's carrying it up with speed, but we can see that Team USA has done a great job here of getting back and taking away the middle. So it's not a great play to take this to the net. So she pulls back. You can see Jenner's showing shot here in the middle, but again, not a great play to try to force that through. And Jenner's actually going to go for a change here. So in the time that this goal is scored, there's actually a 3-on-3 situation between Canada and US. And I think that's an interesting observation in that the US doesn't necessarily play it as if it's a 3-on-3. Maybe they don't realize there's a change. Maybe they just haven't practiced a lot of 4-on-3 situations when the opponents change. But again, you can see as this clip rolls that the US actually gets on the wrong side of the puck, and that if they recognized it was a 3-on-3 for this long, they might have adjusted a little bit differently. So again, I want to talk about the movement by the Canadian players here, not just Ambrose, but the other two players, Serdachny and Larocque, do a great job of cutting through some seams and creating some chaos and confusion for Team USA. So we're going to see Jenner leave here for the change, and you're going to see Serdachny enter the screen next, showing shot, which is a great play. But again, Ambrose recognizes that's not a great shot. US is in great positioning at this point. So Ambrose always heads up. He's going to walk to the top, and Serdachny is going to rotate all the way through and establish her net front position. And this is a critical piece here because Serdachny is going to hold this position for a while, and she's able to get behind the US players. None of them really have eyeballs on her. No one's a stick length away. So she is really, really open in this situation. And you can see, even as she initially rotates to the net, she's really got Frankel bothered. This is a great position to be in. So again, now we're going to watch the movement of Larocque as she comes east-west across the middle of this triangle. And this creates a lot of confusion for the US, not just because of the movement, but also because Ambrose keeps her eyes on Larocque the entire time. So you're going to see as Larocque comes through here and Ambrose is crossing across the top. Now, again, would this be a great shot? Maybe. We have fantastic layers in front of the net here. You've got the US creating traffic. You've got Canada creating traffic. But again, you got a lot of bodies you can hit in this situation. So I think it's a great choice by Ambrose to not shoot the puck here. But you could argue it wouldn't be a horrible shot choice. It would be really hard for Frankel to see this puck and make that initial save. But what Ambrose is doing here, and she's keeping her eyes on Larocque as she goes through. And this, to me, is the really critical piece. So as Larocque rotates through, you can see they're all looking at what Ambrose is looking at, which is Larocque. And so Knight actually cheats over a little bit here. And that movement there by Knight, and it's so subtle. And again, these are the best teams in the world. But that subtle movement there now puts Team USA all on the wrong side of this puck. So really, Ambrose and Serdachny at this moment have a 2-on-0 on Frankel, because all three US players are stacked and they're overly concerned about what Larocque might do if she gets the pass. I mean, I'd be concerned about what Larocque's going to do if she gets this pass as well. But in this situation, they've over-rotated to that side and they've given Serdachny even greater positioning in front of that net. So we can see Ambrose recognizes that. She's going to get that shot through. And Keller finally realizes she needs to get a little closer to Serdachny. Serdachny, again, is taking away Frankel's eyes, who's, again, Frankel's one of the best goalies in the world, so she finds a way to see it. Puck comes in through tight on Serdachny, still able to get it through. But because Serdachny came in with her stick up, she's now able to get her stick down. And we can see here where the biggest problem is, and we see this all the time in minor hockey and really all levels of girls hockey and female hockey. Keller is on the wrong side. Her toes are facing the wrong way. She's staring at Frankel. We know this is a critical error. It's going to lead to the goal against. It's going to lead to Canada winning the World Championship. Listen, Keller's one of the best Ds in the world, so she's not going to make this mistake all the time, but this is a critical one in this moment. And Serdachny, because she had her stick up, she can now press it down, and she's going to finish here for the goal. So again, just some little key moments that really make a difference in terms of movement and positioning here. So let's just look at it again. So you've got Serdachny here pushing off of Keller. This is so important. Totally underrated skill. Doesn't take a lot of skill to be able to do this. But that little push off on Keller, getting her weighted in the wrong direction, again, further establishes Serdachny's position on the inside and creates even more problems for Frankel. So we love that push off here. That's a great picture. And again, we love seeing Serdachny here, even though Keller's got her tied up. Again, she's on the wrong side. Keller's got her tied up, and Serdachny's still strong enough, still has the presence of mind to get stick on puck. And Frankel, again, because of the chaos, isn't quite able to rotate over quick enough, and Serdachny's able to finish on that side. So what a great play. And again, here's that stick up by Serdachny. And again, this is something relatively new. We used to teach that tripod position in front of the net. So if you're going to tip, you want to present your stick on the ice. But what that allows the D to do is when she lifts it up, you probably don't have enough time to get that stick back down. And so in this situation, Serdachny's got her stick up, and as that rebound comes, then she's getting her stick down to score on the rebound. So I love this goal for a million different reasons. I think at least establishing the net front positioning and even that push off are things that we can do at all levels of women's hockey. I'm not sure we can all navigate the point like Erin Ambrose and be able to look off Larocque and make this great play. But again, that inside positioning, that net front detail is so critical, and I think ultimately what leads to this goal for. There you go, Wally.
Kim, I just want to make a point here. 3 years ago, Darryl Belfry was working with Patrick Kane, Matthews, Crosby in Florida. And Belfry did what you did. He said to Patrick, we're going to do some video tonight, Patrick. And they set aside a space at the bar and had their video stuff set up. And Patrick, you're going to talk about the goal you scored, everything that happened leading up to it, and how it happened. And I have a video of not the play, but Darryl explaining this exercise where Patrick Kane talked through what he saw happen. In other words, if Ambrose was talking through the clip and what she saw, or Serdachny, and what came out of it was those players process information so fast and they see so much more than we appreciate. And we're just trying to get our young players to see the game and think more about the options and be more self-aware of their surroundings. And the details to which you present are just amazing. And that exercise, to me, Darryl Belfry did 2 years ago. What you just did here now reinforced the value of visual learning. I never saw all those details. I saw the goal scored. I appreciate Serdachny being at the side of the net, but all of the things that went into it, like Jordan Fenton talked about the lack of the defensive detail, which might have caused the goal. This is what video can teach. And it's all about how much is too much and when do you do it. And Kim, who's using your work and taking most advantage of it?
Well, we kind of just launched it, Wally. So it's sort of in its very basic, I guess, beta stage right now. So I launched it in December. It's a funny story. I like talking about when we fail because I think it happens a lot and we don't own it. But so we're supposed to launch it like December 10th, which of course I was leaving on December 11th to go to the Olympic qualifications. So I really gave myself a lot of time to troubleshoot if anything happened. So we tested it a bunch on December 9th and everything was working great, looked great. Those of you who are listening and not aware, my husband's a computer science professor. So I have some in-house help if things go awry. And then we launched on the 10th and no one could order anything. Didn't work. And so long story short, took quite a bit of time to figure out the payment processor didn't work. After having used it for 17 years, by the way, with no problem, decided to punk out on that morning. So a little bit embarrassing, challenging. Luckily, I had sort of an email sequence that was supposed to go out that I could stop. But I did have about 15 people who, like lightning quick, wanted to sign up, including parents of kids I coach, including coaches I used to play against when I played college hockey, and some people I'd never heard of before. So it took us a long time actually to fix it. My husband built the whole thing. So he basically, if you're familiar with Substack, he just remade Substack, so I don't have to pay Substack any percentage of the money. So again, very helpful to have in-house. It took them a while to rebuild that. So to be honest, we just kind of relaunched it yesterday and not kind of in a soft way. So the email Sam was referring to, she's on my Total Female Hockey newsletter list. So I sent that 3-minute shootout video out this morning to my list. So they all have access to that. And then there's like a bonus version of the shootout. So the people who are part of the Orange Machine who've signed up for the subscription service get the bonus footage. And the bonus footage has like another Poulin shout out of a shootout goal. It's got Primerano's shootout goal that she scored a couple months back. And it's got the best goal ever on the shootout, which of course, unfortunately, depending where you live, is Lamoureux's shootout winner in 2018, which is by far the best shootout goal I've ever seen in women's hockey. So that's kind of an example of the additional access. So again, that video you just watched of Serdachny is only available to the people who subscribe and are paying the monthly fee or the yearly subscription. But I do, on my Total Female Hockey site, kind of give them those 1-minute kind of clips that you could still use and learn some from. And the 1-minute version of that clip is really talking about net front positioning and taking away the goalie's eyes. So it's a very kind of more basic. The detailed version of what you saw there is for the paid subscribers, and they're mostly right now coaches or parents of slightly older players who are getting it for their daughters to watch. So that, the minimal amount of people that we've got so far, just because we really only reopened it yesterday, that's sort of the demographic. But I could see, it's going to be, I think, a lot of coaches. I think that's going to carry a lot of the weight, but I could see a lot of parents, especially because we're doing things like shooting technique and confidence building. There's other videos that just aren't hockey breakdown analysis and are a little bit more individual player development. So I could see a lot of scenarios where parents are getting it for their daughters to have access to, and to be able to kind of grow their game from there. So still very early stages, but something that, I've been creating content forever. And a lot of that, 7-minute version of Serdachny stuff, like you said, I'm not sure all my audience wants, but I know there's a good part of my audience who wants that kind of more detailed in depth. And that's what this kind of paid subscription model is to feed those people. And, whether it's the coaches site or IHS, and those are phenomenal resources for coaches, and they're examples of other paid subscription sites. They're not only female hockey. Mine's only female hockey. Obviously, you could teach guys from those clips, but all the content is only from female hockey and directed towards female hockey. So I think that's a unique thing that a lot of coaches who are in the female space would be really interested in.